Welcome back, students. In the last class, we have studied about the curves and surfaces. So I told you that straight lines, circles, and ellipses, such shapes are not sufficient to draw the complex object. In order to draw the complex object, we must have to deal with curves and surfaces. In this sequence, we have studied about the Bezier curve. And today we will study a slightly different curve that is known as the B-spline curve, which is nothing but the combinations of the Bezier curves, and it also overcomes some limitations of the Bezier curve. So before studying the B-spline curves, we must have a look back on the Bezier curve, that what the Bezier curve is. So Bezier curve is curve which are made of the help of some control points. Specific definition of the Bezier curve is that in order to draw the n degree Bezier curve, you must have n plus 1 control points. So you can see in the slide that there are 4 control points, P0, P1, P2, and P3. And this Bezier curve is drawn with the help of the green line, and this is nothing but the cubic Bezier curve. So I've already told you that the Bezier curves are smooth curves defined by the control points. A degree in Bezier curve is defined by n plus 1 control point Pi. So the Bezier curve can be defined as Ct is equals to summation of I is equals to 0 to n Bint Pi, where Bint is nothing but the Bernstein polynomial and Pi is the control point. This Bernstein polynomial can be defined as n choose I t to the power I into 1 minus t to the power n minus I. So when we expand this formula for a cubic Bezier curve, we get 1 minus t ka cube P0 plus 3t 1 minus t square P1 plus 3t square 1 minus t P2 plus t cube P3. So expanding out these coefficients, we'll get this equation. When we expand out this 1 minus t cube, 1 minus t square, and we multiply this, what we get these coefficients. And this equation can be written in the form of the matrix form. And the matrix form is nothing, Ct is equals to P0, P1, P2, and P3. This is what? This is the control point vector. This t is the parameter where we are considering the degree 3 polynomial. So we will start from t cube, t square, t and 1. And these are nothing but the coefficients, minus 1, plus 3, minus 3, 1, 3, minus 6, 3, 0, minus 3, 3, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. So this is the Bezier curve. Bezier surfaces. Bezier curve can be extended to 2 dimensions to create the Bezier surfaces. In Bezier curve, we have only one parameter, that is t. But when we are dealing with the Bezier surfaces, we have 2 parameters, that are u and v. And this u and v can be vary from 0 to 1, same as t. So when we made formula for these 2 variables in both dimensions, we are dealing with the surfaces. So Bezier surfaces uses the Bezier curve in x and y direction, and we have different degree curve in 2 dimensions. So it is not necessary that in the both dimension you must have the same degree curve. In both dimensions you have different Bezier curves, and these Bezier curves of different degree also. So a Bezier surface of degree mn uses an n degree curve in x direction and an m degree curve in y direction. So mn is nothing but the N is here defining the degree in x direction and M is defining the degree in y direction. So this is the control point. A degree Mn Bezier curve is defined by the control point with x and y coordinate in M plus 1 cross N plus 1 matrix. So this is M cross N matrix. This is M cross N matrix and this is M cross N matrix. So in 3 dimension we have defined the points. Okay. So the equation of the Bezier surface. If you are looking in this portion inside the bracket, you can see that this is the Bezier curve in 1 dimension. So I is equals to 0 to M, Pim, U, Pxij. This is nothing but the Bezier curve in 1 dimension. And when we multiply this curve in this factor, we'll get the Bezier curve in both the directions. So this total term is defining the Bezier curve in both the direction x and y. So when we are dealing with this y point, the same thing, this is the Bezier curve in 1 direction and this is the Bezier curve in both the direction. Similarly, the z we can calculate. So x, y, z we can calculate here in this formula. So there are 2 Bunsen polynomial where M and N are nothing but the degree of the polynomial. So when we write this formula into the form of the matrix, what we get, since U and V are the parameter of degree M and N, we can write this in this form. This is U vector and this is V vector. Px is nothing but the control point in x direction. So this is Px, and M and N are the degree in both the point, where M can be degree in y direction and N can be degree in the x direction. So this can be different. M can be of degree 2, N can be of degree 3, M can be of degree 3, N can be of degree 2, anything is possible. You can take by example, for example, if we make a Bezier surface of degree 3, 3, so we have to write like this: U cube, U square, U and 1, V cube, V square, V and 1, and this is the matrices of degree 3 in both the direction, and Px is the control point. Similarly, we can calculate for x and you can calculate for y. So what you will get the points on the Bezier curve in x, y, and z direction. So here is the MATLAB code where Px, Py, Pz, U and V are the input of the Bezier surface function and x, y, z is the output, where M is the matrix, coefficient matrix, U and V are the vectors, where U are written as U cube, U square, U and U ki power 0 ka transpose, because when you write in this form, this always converted into the column vector. So in order to convert it into the row vector, I have to take the transpose, and V is the column vector. So we can calculate x, y, and z with the formula what I have told you: U V M M X Px, U V M M Py, U V M M Pz. So this is what the whole function is. This is the function for the Bezier surfaces of degree 3 and 3 in both directions. Here is the output. Here we have chosen some random control points. You can see in this graph, these are the control points, 16 control points you can see here. And here is the Bezier surface of this corresponding control point. So what is the problem with the Bezier curve? Bezier curve is that in order to draw the degree n polynomial, we must have n plus 1 control point. So if we have 10 control point, this is restriction that we have to draw the 9-degree polynomial. If we have 11 control point, this is the restriction that we can draw only 10-degree control point. So we cannot make this variable. This is fixed. If we have 10 control point, we cannot draw the cubic, or we cannot draw the quadratic, or we cannot draw the quartic polynomials. So B-spline curves is mainly known as the basis spline, overcomes this limitation of the Bezier curve. Now, B-splines are nothing but the combination of various Bezier curves, and these Bezier curves are joined from end to end control points. So a degree k B-spline curve defined by n plus 1 control point will consist of n minus k plus 1 Bezier curves. For example, there is a Bezier curve of B-spline curve of degree k, and we have n plus 1 control point. Then this B-spline curve will be made of n minus k plus 1 Bezier curves. For example, you can say for a cubic spline, cubic means of degree 3, spline with 6 control point, n is equals to 5, we consist of 3 Bezier curves. Now, how we have calculated? N is 5 here. You can see the highest subscript is 5. 5 minus 3 plus 1, that is equals to 6 minus 3 is equals to 3 Bezier curves. So you can see here that there are 3 Bezier curves we have drawn in 3 colors. First one is the blue, second one is the green, and third one is the black. Now the blue color curve is made with the help of, this is a cubic curve, which is made with the cubic Bezier curve made with the help of P0 to P3. So there are 4 Bezier, there are 4 points, and we have drawn this Bezier curve. Again, P1 to P4, we have drawn this green Bezier curve. And here misprintingly I have written P1 to P4, but here will be P2 to P5, we have drawn this black Bezier curve. And these 3 Bezier curves are combined with the end point. The last of the first Bezier curve is same as the start of second Bezier curve. The last of the second Bezier curve is same as the start of the third Bezier curve. So this is what the Bezier curve, B-spline curve is. So there are some assumptions while drawing the B-spline curve. First one is the final point on the first Bezier curve has the same coordinate as the first point of the second Bezier curve. This is called the C0 continuity, what I have told you previously. It must be, it so says it must be continuous. There must not be any gap between the curves. It must be continuous. The first derivative at the end point of the first Bezier curve is same as the first derivative at the start of the second Bezier curve. Means there must not be any change in the direction at the joining point. Means the gradient value of the first Bezier curve must be equal to, at the last point, must be equal to the gradient value of the second Bezier curve at the starting of the curve. This is called the C1 continuity. Similarly, the second derivative at the end point of the first Bezier curve is same as the second derivative at the start of the second Bezier curve. This is called the C2 continuity. So these 3 assumptions must be true while drawing the B-spline curve. So how to define the B-spline curve? This is defined in the similar way we have defined the Bezier curve. Now there are some differences in only the defining these terms. So ST is equals to summation of I is equals to 0 to N NIKT Pi, where NIKT is nothing but the basis functions and Pi is nothing but the control points. So this NIKT is defined by nothing but the Cox-Dufour recursion formula. What this formula says, Cox-Dufour recursion formula, that Ni0 T is equals to 1 and 0 if T is in between Ti and Ti plus 1, otherwise 0. Means when the second subscript is 0 and whatever the first subscript is, it doesn't matter. The value of this basis function can be either 0 or 1. When this is either on or off. Else, if Nij, where j is not equals to 0, then we have some formula. This is some complex formula you have written. T minus Ti plus Tij minus Tj. I will define it later. So this is what Ni, Jt. Now the question is, what is this Ti? Ti is nothing but the node vector. The value of Ti are taken from a sequence called the node vector. So the value of Ti is taken from T, a node vector T, where T is nothing but T0, T1 up to Tm. So the value of T will be vary from T0 to Tm. And the nodes that T lies between determines the basis functions that affect the shape of the B-spline. Whatever the value here in the node, this node will affect the T-spline. So the number of nodes in T, that is M plus 1, is related to the degree and the number of control points. So what will be M plus 1? M plus 1 is nothing but the number of nodes into the node vector. And this M can be defined as N plus K plus 1. So for example, for a cubic B-spline, defining the control points P0, P1 up to P4, where value of N is 4 and the value of K is 3. So 4 plus 3 plus 1, that is 8. So there will be 9 values into the node vector, and this will be start from 0 up to 8. Because I have told you that the number of nodes in T is N plus 1, or N is calculated as 8. So there will be 9 values, and this 9 value will be from 0 to 8. So when the value of the node vectors are equal, you can see there is only equidistance vectors are there. So this is called the uniform B-spline. So if the nodes are the equidistance, then we have a uniform B-spline. If a uniform quadratic B-spline is defined by control point P0, P1 and P2, then you can see N is equals to 2 and K equals to 2. So the value of M will be N plus K plus 1, that is 2 plus 2 plus 1, that is equals to 5. So the node vector will be T0 to T5, that will be 0 to 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the B-spline curve I have told you that defined by 2 factors. So first one is the basis function and second one is the Pi. Using the Cox-Dufour recursion formula, the triangular scheme, what I have told you that whenever the value will be 0, you can see in this column that is 0, 1 and 0, 0, 0 and 0. So this column will contain either 0 or 1 value of this function. And this value that is N0, 1t will depend on these two values. Similarly, these two will depend on these two values. So what I have to calculate here, we have to, first of all, we will calculate N0, 2t. So this will be depend on this and this. Okay. So how this N0, 2t is calculated, see in the next slide. So N0, 2t is equals to, where I is equals to 0 and j is equals to, with the formula you can see, this is I and this is j, this is 0 and this is 2. So what will happen here? T minus T0 upon T2 minus T0. So T0 is 0 and T2 is 2. So T minus 0 upon 2 minus 0. And this will be N1, 1. Sorry, N0, 1, because I is 0. N0, 1. Here you can see here, there will be 3 T3 minus T upon T3 minus T1. And here will be what? N1, 1 T. So we have just expanded in this equation that formula. So T minus 0 upon 2 minus 0, N 0, 1 T, 3 minus T upon 3 minus 1, and 1, 1 T. Again, we can expand this and this function. So when we will expand this, what we'll get here, T by 2, that is T by 2, and when we expand this, I is equals to 0 and j is equals to 1. So T minus Ti, Ti is what? I is 0 and j is 1. So T minus Ti is equals to T minus 0 upon Ti j. I is 1 and j is, I is 0 and j is 1. So what will be here? Here will be 1 minus 0 into Ni is j minus 1, and I is what? And I is 0 and j minus 1 is 0. Bracket में T plus Tij plus 1. What is I? I is 0. What is j? J is 1 and plus 1. That is T2. So T2 is 2 minus T upon Ni j plus 1. That is 0 plus 1 plus 1. This will be 2 and minus with the help of formula you can see here what is the value, and minus Ni plus 1 j minus 1. Then I plus 1 will be 1 and j minus 1 will be 0. Bracket में T. So this has been expanded here. Similarly, you have to expand this 3 minus T upon 2, and you have to expand this. So this will be the expansion. So when you calculate this equation, what you have written here, because you can see in the second subscript there is always 0. So this value can be either 0 or 1. These 4 values can be either 0 or 1 depending on the value of T. So what will happen here? When T is in between 0 to 1, when T is in between 0 to 1, this value will be 1, this will be 0, this will be 0, and N02. So what will happen? Finally, when we calculate this, we'll get N02 will be half of t square. So N02 will be half of t square. Okay. So we have calculated the both N10, N20, and what will be happening there. So half of t square we have calculated. Similarly, when t is in between 1 to 2, in that case, this will be 1 and rest of the both will be 0, because t is in between ti and ti plus 1. So here it will be 1 and these both will be 0. Value of I is 1. And when this will be, this value will 1 and rest of 2 will be 0. So according to this, we can calculate N02t, N02t, N02t. So these three values will be calculated. So we have to repeat this for all the functions. So N02, N12 and N22 you have to calculate. So you will get these functions. Between 1 to 2, between 1 to between 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3. Otherwise it will be 0. Rest of them, this will be 0. So we have calculated all this formula. So when we draw this spline basis function on this basis function with respect to t, then what we'll get? We'll get these three values. When n is between when t is between, we can see here with this recursion, when t is between 0 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3. So what we can get here, 0 to 1, this curve is defined by this red curve is defined by N02. This green curve is defined by N12, and this blue curve is defined by N22. Now you can see that these are the symmetric curve. Now the question arises, why these are symmetric? Because in the equation you can see that here is t square, here is t minus 1, and here is t minus 2. Now when there is t, there is this function and this function is similar. Only there is a shift only. And what is the shift? T minus 1 and here t minus 2. Similar function. Here t minus 1, here t minus 2, here t minus 3. Here t minus 2, t minus 3, and t minus 4. Everything is similar except this, only this term, t minus 1 to t minus 2. There is only the shift of 1. So what will happen here? That this function will shift when this function is from 0 to 3. This is the equation. When we shift to from 0 to 1, we'll get the N12. And when we'll shift this from 0 to 2, we'll get the N22t. So there is only the shift. The curve will be similar, but there is only a shift here. So what we are talking about, the B-spline, we consider the B-spline in only that portion where there is the contribution of both the three curves. And we will neglect those portions where is contribution of only single function or two functions. So from 2 to 3, you can see here, there is only the contribution of all the three curves. So we'll consider only this reason when the function is from 2 to 3. So all here 2 to 3 is this equation, here 2 to 3 is this equation, and here 2 to 3 is this equation. So what we are writing, our uniform quadratic B-spline is only defined for t is equals to 2 to 3, where this is 2 to 3, 2 to 3 and 2 to 3. Both the equation, all the three functions. So when we write this in the form of, we'll write T2, we'll write 2 and T3. There is nothing, nowhere T3. So we'll write only T2. T2 is 2. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And when we expand this formula, we get ST is equals to P0, P1, P2. And these are the halves, all the halves. These are T squared, T and 1. And this is the equation, matrix form of this above equation when we are going to add all this formula. Because as I have told you that ST is nothing. ST is the summation of all the functions. You have already written here. ST is the summation of n I comma 2. So we have written that here. So when we expand this and add all these things, what we get this equation. So as in the general form of the quadratic B-spline, pi plus 1, pi plus 2, half, 1 minus 2 plus 1, minus 2, minus 2, 2 and 1, 1, 0, 0. And here t square, t and t, where I is equals to 0, 1 up to n minus k plus 1. So this is what the uniform quadratic B-spline. And we have written here some MATLAB code. This is the matrix I have defined previously. Half, 1, minus 2, 1, minus 2, 1, minus 2, 2, 1 and 1, 0, 0. That I have written. Half, 1, minus 2, 1, minus 2, 2, 1, 1, 0, 0. And this is the T for the quadratic equations, quadratic curve. And this T is nothing but the parameter for the function, and P is this control point. So calculate n and k. K is nothing. So here what we doing, we are just calculating n and k, where n is the number of control points and k is the degree of the curve. Initially the spline is empty and we are taking from 1 to n minus k plus 1 splines. And these number of times we are calculating the spline. And this is we are multiplying with m and t. M is what? M is the matrix and t is the terminology, this degree, parametric equation, parametric vector, and this is the matrix. And after each we are adding the Bezier section to the B-spline, this spline section. So this is the MATLAB code for this above B-spline curve. And when we get the output, this is some output we are getting. So this is the spline we can see here. It is consist of now you can see here that this B-spline curve is only it not passing through the endpoints. Now this is the drawback of the uniform B-spline curve. Now why this happens? Because when we draw the basis function, uniform quadratic basis function, we get in this scenario. When t is equals to 7 and Nij is varying from 0 to 1, t is varying from 0 to 1 here. So this is the uniform vector. You can see here that this is varying from only 2 to 5. All the equations have, here is all the three curves have the contribution in the section 2 to 5. From 0 to 2 and 5 to 7, there is not the contribution of all the curves. So B-spline takes only these into the picture. It will neglect all these things. So we are getting such output. So in order to overcome this, what we'll get, we will do open uniform B-spline. Now in uniform B-spline, what we does, we define in a sequence from 0 to n. But in open B-spline, to overcome the problem of the uniform B-spline, what we do, we set first k naught, where k is the degree. If this is the quadratic polynomial, then first k naughts, that is, will be set to the tk, and the last k naught will be set to the tn. For example, you can see here that if we have a quadratic B-spline, means degree is of k is of 2 and the control points are n is equals to 4. So what m will be? 2 plus 4 plus 1, that will be 7. There are 7 naught vectors. So in 7 naught vectors, what we'll do, it will be from t0 to t7. There will be 8 values. So first two nodes have the same value of the third node, and last two nodes have the same value of the third last node. So we can take this into the sequence 0, 1, 2 and 3, and these two nodes will have the value 0 and these two nodes have the value 3. And when we expand this with the help of that, so what we'll get, we'll get the quadratic open uniform quadratic B-spline function as this. And you can see that each curve has the contribution at all the t from 0 to 3, p0, p1, p2 and p3. Here there is the contribution of all the functions, all the curves. So when we draw the B-spline of this basis function, then there will be the B-spline will pass through the endpoint also. So what will be the formula? The matrix representation of the B-spline, I is nothing but in between 1 to n minus 3 sorry 2 to n minus 3 here will be. Here misprintingly I have written 1 to n minus 3. 2 to n minus 3, this will be same as the previous B-spline you have seen. You have derived the uniform B-spline, you have same formula you have derived. But for this and for this, it will be some constant. For n minus 2, n minus 1 and up to n, this will be this constant value. You can calculate this also. And for S0 and S1, this will be constant. So there will be three matrix representation of the open uniform B-spline. So when you draw this into the MATLAB code, what you will get? You will get M1, M2, and M3, three matrices for S0, Sn, for S0, Si, and Sn-2. You will get these three codes. T is nothing but the degree. N is the size, bracket में p comma 2, and k is the degree. Initially, so this will be the MATLAB code. You can see here from this is the B spline from 1 to 3. This is from I is equals to 0 to n minus 3, and this is from n minus 2 to n. So there will be B spline, and each B spline will be added to S, will be concatenated to S. This is our original spline, and this is first Bezier, this is second Bezier, and this is third Bezier. So each time here we are applying the iteration. This is the first Bezier, this is the Bezier curves, and this is the last Bezier. So when we calculate the output, you can see that this B spline is passing through the endpoint. So this is what open uniform B spline. So today we have studied about the B spline curves and some formula. In the next lecture, we will solve the numericals of the Bezier curve and B spline curve. Thank you.